Hello, good day. This is Rejoice Muna, and welcome to Weekly Analysis with Rejoice Muna. Now, before we go to this weekly analysis, I just wanted to say something. All right. Now, remember that sometime in April, I think in 21st April, where I gave the weekly analysis for the week of April 20th to 24th April, price got to this particular POI, and I said that it was going to, drop. I even talked about the head and shoulder pattern that was trying to form and that it was likely to start dropping from here. And I also said that if you are the kind of person that likes to take a lot of, risks, like a lot of XSL, or that you want to, get a lot of pips, you can start selling from there and then it will get to this point. So as you can see that prediction worked. Like, market has been seriously selling from that place. Just like you can see in this video. Let me attach the video now so you can see. Price is likely to sell from here. So let's see. We can take this type of risks. Let me say. So if you're somebody that likes to take bigger pips trade, you can even start taking it from here and probably target this last low. But you have to make sure that your stop loss is like above this zone. Okay. So this is it. You can even start from here and start taking the trade. But this is like a 1:2. Honestly, I don't like to take trades like this because, not necessarily because of the 1:2, but I don't like my SL to be so much. So yes. Can you see that price has been selling up until this point? Now, I told you that my own style of trading is that I take trades with like little SL, little risks for higher reward. And that I just, have like a general bias of where the market is going to, where it is headed to, the directional bias of where it's headed to, and then get some trades in between. Okay, which I have gotten some trades in between, some sell trades, some buy trades in between. But majorly, it was supposed to be sell trade because that is the trend of the market. All right. So currently, last week, I said that price was going to, still buy a bit and get to a particular liquidity before selling. And I was wrong because I took a buy trade. And price hit SL. I would attach it here. Now, immediately it hit SL. I had to, because I journal my trades. I had to go back to see what happened. And I saw that liquidity that price was supposed to hit, it could still hit it. But I am not the one, just like I always say, that's why it's not good to like counter trend trade, like trade the market, like trade a counter trend. Okay. It's not good to do that because most times you're not necessarily going to know exactly how market may move, but it's better you are trading on the current trend, which I always said that it was sales, but it's not like if I see some buys, I might not necessarily take those buys, but those buys are called risky buys. Okay. So I was thinking that it was going to hit that liquidity because I had marked my own POI wrongly. Now, this place that I marked, this particular place was the POI I ought to have marked and I missed it. And that is the thing about the RM strategy. Yeah. It says the rules. Even I myself, if you're not careful enough, you might miss your POI. It states the rules and why you ought to pick your POI. So if you have gotten the TEPS course where the RM strategy is, you would see why this market chose this particular POI. So I'm not going to go into much details. So this was the POI actually was meant to get to. But because I already set my mind on a particular liquidity that it might hit, and because I already, positioned my mind on a particular POI I had in mind, I had to buy. And, market did what it had to do. I was taken out. So I hit SL. All right. So this was the right POI that I ought to have looked out for. And assuming I looked out for it, I could have gotten a lot of pips. Because obviously it really sold. So that aside, now market has done what we anticipated since April that it was going to do. Now, as we can see, market now is now showing us a very, very clear head and shoulder pattern. A very, very clear head and shoulder pattern. As you can see the head, see the shoulder. See the shoulder. Can you see? So this is like a head and shoulder pattern here. And if you are conversant with the head and shoulder pattern, this means that price will still keep selling. Price will keep still selling. As long as it has broken this neckline, it is still likely to sell down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I don't really know if this is going to be weekly, like if it's going to happen this week or next week, but this is my own weekly analysis. I'm going to remove the POIs that have been met and then leave the POIs that are, that are valid, but price has not gotten to that yet. So we're still selling. We are still selling, but there could be buys in between, but these are risky buys, short-term buys, but it is not the trend. Okay, so this one has satisfied its purpose. I'm deleting it. I just want my chart to be clean. This one has not satisfied its purpose yet. It's still a valid possible POI. This one was the POI that it got to before it sold. So this has been done. It has satisfied its purpose. All these have satisfied their purpose. So now, where are the other likely POIs? Where are the other likely POIs? So this one that I have marked 1, price is likely to come back there. I want this chart to be really clean. So this one that I have marked 1, price is likely to come back there. There is another one here. So these 3 POIs are like the possible POIs that price might still come back to. But what we do is that in the RM strategy, which is in the TEPS course, is that when it gets there, you have to wait for confirmations. If you get your confirmations, then you can now trade it. If you don't get your confirmations, it becomes invalid. So assuming you know the RM strategy or the TEPS course, you have the TEPS course, you would understand what I'm saying. So we're anticipating sales from these POIs. So it either sells from here, or it sells from here, or it sells from here. And all this will determine when it gets there and what it does, like the reaction it does. We get our confirmation and start selling. So that is my bias for Euro USD in these coming weeks. Now the TEPS course is still available. It's about $60, 80,000 naira. You would get value for your money. You will understand exactly why I'm choosing this POIs, the rules behind it, and how it works. And you have seen consistently that these directions most times do work. It works. Okay, so this is my own bias for GBP, for Euro USD. We are still selling. We are still selling. For GBP USD, I still made the same mistake last week. We still had the sales. The sales still had it. I was waiting for it to get here. But just like I said, you cannot tell the market exactly how it will get to your POI. So while I was waiting for it to get here, market was selling. But this particular POI is still valid. It is still valid. And market still did what he knows how to do. This thing he did, he still ought to have done it. It's just that the buys might not have necessarily been that way last week. So I hit SL. Okay. All these are still liquidity that will be swept. It will still be swept because this is a valid POI. All right. So for GBP USD, the POIs that I'm looking out for, this, I'm still positive on that one. Then this is also a valid POI. This range, I would set it properly and still send when price gets there in the free analysis group. Okay. So even GBP USD is still selling. GBPUSD is still selling. In fact, it will still sell more. Okay, but it might short-term buy before it sells. So this is my bias for GBPUSD and EURUSD for this week. Okay, for USDCHF. So USDCHF, I'm still monitoring it because I have a POI at this point, which was why I was expecting it to sell to this point. So we're doing what we said last week was like a risky short, because if EURUSD and GBPUSD is selling, USDCHF is supposed to be buying. But if you are doing anything other than that, you are taking a risky trade. Okay, so we're doing like a risky. I said it initially, like some months ago, that it's going to sell maybe to this point, to this PI, because this is a valid POI. But that does not necessarily mean that it cannot still be doing whatever it's doing. It can still be buying and doing whatever it's doing before it gets here. You will not tell the market exactly how to go. It's just when it gets to your POI, you see how it reacts in that POI and then take that trade. Okay, so I didn't take any trade from here because obviously this didn't give me any confirmation last week. So, and thankfully I didn't take any trade, and so there was no SL from this point. All right, so I'll just be clearing my charts too for USDCHF. Then when I see opportunities, I will still send on the free analysis group. So these are my buyers for GBPUSD, EURUSD, and USDCHF. So the link to the course is in my bio. All right. Bye.